that's what we're gonna be drawing. Let's start out with it. So we're gonna go down the middle first. Shit. Swine clean motion. There we go, then go to this side. We just want to get this in the middle. Alright. Now we're gonna draw our eyeball. So we're just gonna draw a big circle. Doesn't need to be too big, but make sure you make it big. That's gonna be our focus. It's really the main thing over here. You can draw, you know, stuff inside because we're gonna color it in eventually. Not right now because that doesn't really matter. Alright, now we're gonna draw our eyeball. So, I'm gonna draw a little half circle, a little end at the end, a little spike at the end. Don't need to add much more detail because eventually that's gonna get rid of. We're gonna draw the rest of the eyeball. Like that. Oh, shit. Where's my eraser? There it is. Yeah, that's alright if you make a mistake. It's not the end of the world. Just make sure you're not drawing too hard. It's not gonna be perfect on your first go. And especially if this is your first time drawing it. Okay. Now that that part's done, we have our eyeball. Alright. Hold up, there's stuff here that shouldn't be here. Alright, now that... Oh, hold up. Alright, now that we have our eyeball, it's not completely finished, but this is just a basic eyeball. We're going to draw a little bit of details around it. So, draw a little line right here, and then basically just curve around and then go up. So basically just curve around it and right where that spike is about to start. Okay. Alright, and then I'm gonna do the same thing for the bottom. But this one is just going to be a straight line all the way through. All the way through. A little past the spike at the end. Alright, now we're going to go past here. We're going to go a little to the side from right here. We're going to draw a line to the side. Okay.
I need to focus because of the plastic wrap.
Okay, then we drew that line. Alright. Now we're almost done with the basics of the eyeball. What we have to do right now is draw the eyebrow. No eye is complete without an eyebrow. So the line where here, so where the circle is, where you get your split, you want to draw a diagonal line through it, but don't actually go through it. You just want to be in line with that. Then you're going to do the same thing that you did there. And draw the eyebrow. You're going to draw a line down. And you're going to go back. You're going to go back there. And there we go. That's my bad. My brow needs to be a little bit bigger. You want to get this one past the spike. There we go. Not too big of a deal. There we go. Alright, now that we have that done, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to draw the fingers that we have on this one. This one, we have the finger going a little bit above the eyebrow right here, a little bit above it. And then this finger right here is pushing on that eyebrow right there. And it's moving it up. Just moving it up a little bit. So we're moving that eyebrow up. Okay, so we're gonna go do that. Alright, so we're gonna start off by putting our finger, drawing out a rough estimate of how wide his finger's gonna be. That's not gonna be really how wide his finger is. We're just guessing right now. Then we're gonna draw a line down right a little bit under his highlight above his eye. And we're gonna do a slant. Make sure this side follows that side. And then don't draw the line with your wrist. Try to go with your hand. I know I'm going with my wrist. Shouldn't be doing that. Should be always going with your wrist. Okay, once we get to a certain point, like right a little bit more down. Well, yeah, that should be good. Then we're gonna do another slant. And there we go. We got one finger down. This finger's looking alright. Alright, we're not gonna add we're not gonna add the details to this just yet. But just we'll do it. We'll add the eyebrow. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to erase part of this. And like right here. You're gonna basically, push that eyebrow. Push that eyebrow up. He's sort of pushing his eyebrow. If you push on your eyebrow, you can sort of feel it. That's what he's kind of doing. He's kind of making a bow. Okay. So now we want to add our second finger. Second finger right here. That's what we want to add. So we're gonna draw finger, our little outline right here. It's a little bit above it, and then we're basically gonna want to do the same thing that we did there. There's just gonna be different slants. Yeah, just go down a little bit. Okay, and then once we get to, right here at our little dimple, whatever you want to call it, little highlight, gonna want to slant down. Make sure you give that a little big bump. It's gonna add some detail there and it's gonna make it look better. Alright. There we go. I'm gonna add a little line. Just follow it through. Honestly. Even though it doesn't look the greatest with the red line, just follow it through. Just follow it through. Okay. Now we're done with, the basics. We're gonna add in his headband so that we could start adding in his hair. So the headband's pretty simple. Just want to draw a line all the way through the top. So we can add it, just on this red line. Just gonna get rid of some details, but that's okay. We can live with that. We can live with the loss of a little bit of detail. Because we're adding in the hair right now. Okay. Alright, now we have the basic outline for the headbands. Okay, so what we're gonna wanna do is add in, we're gonna add in the part in his hair. So right here, it goes up to the top and it splits right here between these two. These two are split, and then the hair follows. So what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna want to kind of curve around this middle line. Curve around it. Or, no, not around this middle line. That's where his eyeball is. So, you're gonna want to think, well, his eyeball is on the right side of his head. So, it's not in the middle. So, we're gonna want to push this, so a little bit to the side. That's the middle of his hair. So, we're gonna put that. Split it, like around it. And then we're gonna want to add in the hair. Give it a little spike right there. You know, right there. There we go. That looks good. Just gonna get rid of some detail. That's what hair does. It gets in the way of stuff. But it'll be all good, so I'm gonna want to erase all that stuff in there. And this is why you don't want to draw too hard, because it's going to be too difficult to erase. Sometimes, you add a good detail, but you gotta remove a little bit of it when you're drawing, and that's okay. Just gonna add some more to the drawing that you're already doing. Okay. There we go. Now we're gonna want to come off of this and add a bigger hair spike, just like we see in the original picture that I drew. And basically do the same thing, just bigger. Okay, we have two now. We're gonna want to get rid of some of this. And then, every picture is gonna look a little bit different. It's not gonna be all exactly the same, as long as you get the same general idea, it should look fine. My picture is not 100% exactly what I did the last time. And it could be worse, it could be better, You're gonna improve every single time that you draw something. The first time I drew this, it was not very good, So don't be down on yourself if it doesn't look too good right now. Okay, so we're gonna add the last two hair spikes in our hair. I'm gonna make sure that these are pretty big. Pretty big and pretty wide, Make sure it's, covering some of that picture, Staying relatively the same throughout the whole thing. And then we just want to get a little guy off here. There we go. Alright. So now we have some of our hair. So this is the right side of our hair. Okay, that's the right side. Now we're just gonna add a little bit over here. We're gonna think of the split, so we're gonna add something over here. There we go. And now, you know, that looks good. But on every head, there's going to be 2 eyeballs. Right now we only have 1. So on the other side, we're gonna try to, you know, just copy a little bit of what we did, you know, and try to translate it to over to this side. So, you know, add a little indent that we did. We'll highlight. Then, you know, add that circle, that half circle. At the bottom of the eyeball. And then, you know, the undertone. There we go. And then you look at that. That looks good. And then we're gonna add another, or whatever you want to call that. I don't really know what that's called, to be honest with you. Okay, and also, you know, every face has a nose, so we're gonna add that. You know, alright, and you know, it's looking pretty good right so far. Yeah. So we see have you know, all of the stuff down now. So we're not gonna add too much more. You know, we're almost done. It's looking pretty good so far. You know, it's only been a couple of minutes, you know, 10, 15 minutes. And we're looking good. Just before we do anything else, you know, just go through it. Erase anything you don't like. If you don't like how thick your finger is, you can make it bigger. Make it smaller if you don't like how it's too big. Just add in the details right now. Alright. Now what we want to do is we want to add our headband. So I'm just going to draw, you know, just a rectangle. Try to get to pretty much the top. You don't want it really at the top, no. But pretty much at the top. Okay, now it's going to get cut off by the hair, so just put like an imaginary ends to it over here. Bro, what are you doing? Oh my goodness. Really can't hear nothing. Alright. Now you see the headband over here. We're going to add the leaf symbol. Okay, so let's add that. It's pretty simple. You just do a slanted line. And then your circle. You want it to end in the middle, and then you put your select at the end, your little beak. There you go. You have your leaf symbol. Now, you're going to add the little dots at the end. We'll have one right there. No, don't have the dots. Don't have the dots. That don't look good. On this one, over here, it made more sense because you can see the full headband. But on this one right here, you're not going to see full. So, just draw a slanted line through. You know, and every picture's going to be different, you know? It's not all going to be the same. So, I mean, I'm sure some of you guys are going to be able to draw better than me, you know? So, feel free to add anything you think will make a picture better. And little differences can make a picture good, you know? That's a good thing to add differences. I'm just going to get rid of a little stuff that's going to piss me off. Alright, now we have basically everything that we need. I'm just gonna color in the headband a little bit so I can differentiate it from the metal part of this headband. Just gonna add that there. Pretty sure that was supposed to be the leg, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter. It's too late now. Oopsie. Color in that headband. Alright. That's looking good. Look at that. That's looking pretty good so far, I think. I think it's looking pretty good. Alright, so now we're going to add a Sharingan in. We're not going to do the Mangekyo, we're just going to do the regular Sharingan because it's nice and simple. So, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to draw a big circle around it. A big circle. When you cut off, it's okay. Just go under. Just go under. And it's kind of my fault. I didn't really plan out for this too much. I knew what I was going to do, but I didn't execute it good enough. It's alright. Alright, there we go. Now that we have our highlight, we're going to add a Tomoe. I think that's what they're called. I don't really know what they're called. I'm pretty sure it's called a 3 Tomoe Sharingan. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, we're gonna add these. It doesn't really matter what direction the point's pointing in, but you want to kind of try to add them in different directions, you know, just to get a little bit of difference in there. You don't want everything to be the same. Because not everything's gonna be perfect. You know, you don't want it to seem too unrealistic. Even though it is a red eyeball. You know, it's alright. Alright, there we go. Got 2 of them in. Got 2 across, and then let's add a third one over here. Get a little triangle going. A little triangle. Alright, there we go. Now we have that. Okay. Now that we have our Tomoe, we're gonna add little lines in the Sharingan. So, just draw some lines through it. It's not difficult. It is really, really simple. Just draw your lines. Draw them lines. Draw them damn lines. It is really, really simple. Can't get more simple than this. So this should look good on everybody's picture. You can do that. That's really simple. Everybody can do that. Alright. Now, the last thing that we gotta do before, we finish and color everything in, is we gotta add his ring. So, we're gonna add the ring, and then we're gonna add the, I think that's kanji. Could be wrong. Hold up. Let me find my phone. Hold up. Oh wait, I can't. Hold on. Let me just look it up. Fuck. Hold on. That is not the kanji for it. What? I thought that meant scarlet. I could, I think I got clickbaited, guys. Okay, so this does not mean scarlet. I literally have no clue what that means. I thought that meant scarlet. I mean, maybe it does. I thought that was kanji, though. But, I guess I'm retarded. Alright. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Alright, so we're just going to add in our ring. So we're going to draw a little circle under. This is his knuckle right here. We're going to add it under that. A little circle. You don't want it to hit the edges, but you want it to be pretty, it's a hole in a tree, And you're gonna add lines like right under the tip of it, right? And then you're gonna want it to kind of balloon around it. Kind of balloon around it, and then you can do your big circle. Big circle. Around it, and then you kind of, it's looking good. Kind of want to do the same thing over here. Kind of messed up over there. Yeah, I just want to balloon it. There we go. That is looking good. Alright, now we want to get rid of the finger lines. Those fingers, they don't really mean anything to us right now, because our ring is not, it's going to be wrapping around our finger. It's not going to be, as tiny as our finger. It's going to be bigger than our finger. So we're going to wrap it around. Wrapping it around, wrapping it around. There we go. Yeah, and we wrapped it around. It's looking good. Now I just want to add our symbol. I don't know what it means. Hold up, my hair's in the way. Sorry. Alright, so my hair's in the way. My hair was in the way. Look at that, all you want. That's what it should look like. Now I'm gonna draw the symbol. We're gonna draw a big line through. Big line. We're gonna draw a tiny line. Get a cross going. There we go. Under it. We're gonna get a big line. Okay. Big line. We're gonna curve these under it. And then our last little thing right here. A little arch going right here. Little arch going right there. And there you go. Boom. Bam. You're pretty much done right now. You can stop if you want here. You don't have to color anything else in. You You know, this is our completed picture. We're done. Okay? But if you want to keep going, you keep going. You color it how you want. Right in this one, I colored the red, you know, to get it popping, to get it going. But you know, you're pretty much done. Good job. You're done. You finished. You know, between these two, hold on, let me take this out real quick. Between these two, you know, I don't really know which one I like better. I like the ring on this one better. You know, I like the fingers a little bit more. But I kind of like the eye on this one a little bit better. I like how I did it better on this one instead of this one. So, you know, if you could do this again, you could do it as many times as you want. You know, you're going to get better with every single picture you draw. You might see a little bit big differences here and there. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's your drawing. So you could do whatever you want with it. You know, I hope you liked it. It should be, you know, hopefully this was a fun little thing to do. You know, and if you want any more of these, you know, just let me know down in the comments. Alright, BananaLord out. Alright, let me turn this shit off.